Well, first of all, thank you, NPF. Thank you for being here and for having us. It means a lot to us, and we really like to share our experience, our knowledge with you. And we would like to hear what you think as well when we do the Q&A, because it's a learning process for us as well. So anyway, as we all know, Parkinson's is a very complex condition. Very. And a ghost, I know that. That comes with a very vast array of motor and non-motor symptoms. Well, that is at the same time a curse and a blessing. It's a curse because it's really hard to come up with a standard course of treatment or a standard protocol to treat everybody the same way, right? But it's a blessing because it allows us to look at every single case as a very unique situation and come up with very unique and sometimes creative ways to deal with it. So yes, it does take a village. But the main thing is that the person who has Parkinson's needs to be in charge. What we always tell our people who are dealing with Parkinson's for a long time, sometimes we have a few people who've had it for 20 years. And the main thing, the most important thing is create a team around you. You will have doctors, you will have physical therapists, you will have your family, you will have your caregivers, your trainers, right? And it's like a team. But like any other team, the main, what gives it, what you really need is a good captain, and that's you. You know, you need to be in charge, you need to tell your doctors what you need. You need to communicate a lot. And all those people are there to help. It's true. And you're lucky to have them. But they can only help you if you are proactive about it. So, well, what better than a sports metaphor to introduce the importance of exercise in the treatment of Parkinson's disease, which, you know, we've heard a lot about today, so I'm not going to bore you with any other additional details because it's been covered greatly and I have nothing else to add to that. Our personal experience and our empirical observation has to do with boxing. We've been doing that for almost 2 years in New York and Los Angeles, and it works. It works because boxing seems to have all the elements that tackle the symptoms, motor and non-motor symptoms that people with Parkinson's deal with on a regular basis, and those are balance, strength, stamina, eye-hand coordination, which is very important too, and flexibility. Now, it does not have to be boxing. The other thing that we noticed is that the same kind of vibe that boxing has and the same kind of quality, active and proactive quality, can be applied to different physical disciplines. Like, you can do yoga that way, you can swim that way, you can do stretching that way. Stretching can be active stretching. And that's the key word, active. Whatever you do, you have to be in charge of what you're doing. And intense exercise is important for all the reasons that you heard so far, but it's also important because it forces you, in a positive way, to look at your situation and perform in ways that you wouldn't believe you could. And that's the key. To have a trainer, to have the right trainer, or the right doctor that will push you and give you the positive reinforcement that you need at the same time. It's a hard balance to find, really hard. But when you do find it, it works. And we see it every day. We see it every day. We see people that get better physically and psychologically, because that's the other thing too. Depression and anxiety can be a big part of Parkinson's, can play a really big role in it. And there is a stigma that comes along with that. Just like there is a stigma that comes along with Parkinson's. And when we say that Parkinson's is a very complex condition, that means that it affects you in many different ways. So much so that it could even take over your identity, you know, because you've been that person for so many years. And then you get diagnosed, and you're presented with a future that's uncertain, and you're not always given the full picture. All right? What the full picture is that you can actually manage it, and you can live with it, and you can have a very good life. It's just a matter of understanding what you're going through. And again, depression and anxiety can be a big part of that. And when I say depression, I don't mean, oh, I'm depressed because I got diagnosed and I don't know, and I don't know what's going to happen to me. That's not clinical depression. Clinical depression is one of the symptoms of Parkinson's, and you have to treat it as one. So when I say that exercise, especially intense exercise, improves your condition in general, I mean, it improves your motor symptoms, but it also plays a very important role in deconstructing the stigma that's associated with Parkinson's. At that point, you think you are, well, sometimes you begin to think that you are the disease. What you were before doesn't exist anymore. All you see is the symptoms. And that's what you think people see. And that's what you think people look at. And sometimes it prevents you from the social interactions, which is a vicious cycle. Just like exercise. Oh, I don't feel like I can do that, so I'm not even going to try. Well, I don't feel like I can talk to people, so why should I even try to do that? I hear that a lot. I had one of our people tell me that, well, at this point, he feels more comfortable having his wife speak for him to people. Because, you know, it's hard for him to talk, and it's such a big task that might as well not even try. Well, that's the worst thing you can do, because it prevents you from getting better. And that's the other thing, getting better. Our idea of that is usually, oh, I want to be just the way I was before. That's not getting better. That's being stuck in the past. I mean, getting better means create a new dynamic balance that's going to be completely different from before, completely. And that's why when you choose an activity, a physical activity, yeah, you have to choose something you like, but even more than that, you have to choose something that's new. That's another very important thing, because when it comes to boxing, most of our people have never even thought they could try. They didn't even like it, right? The reality of it is that it's a completely new set of skills, which taps right into your brain ability and predisposition to learn. And, you know, they talk about neuroplasticity, and that's what it is. You know, you're favoring your brain's ability to reroute itself, to learn a new skill. The reality of it is that our brains are wired to learn and develop. I know sometimes it's hard to believe, but it's very, very true. And that's exactly what we do with exercise, with showing you that you can do so much more than you think you can do. And again, identity is a very complex structure that we create throughout our lives. We create it by experiencing things. It's based on our genetic makeup, our history, a variety of factors and our social interactions. But guess what? Those social interactions and everything we do is always a double wave feedback. And so is your physical activity. When I hit something, when I lift something, my brain has to tell my arm or my hand or whatever part of my body I'm using to do that. But after I've done it, then I will get a feedback that my brain will process. And that's how we learn, and that's how we keep getting better and better at what we do. So that's what you want to trigger. You want to trigger a positive reaction. Because our identity, yeah, it's what we project, but it's also what we get back from people. So if you think of yourself as someone who's just shaking all the time, that's what you're going to project. And that's what people, even if they don't want to, that's what they will see. And that's what you will get back from them. Who's going to benefit from that? No one. I know it's easy for me to say that because I don't have it. And whatever I say, I mean, it doesn't really count. But what I'm saying is what I see. And what I see is that when people take charge and they decide that they want to make a change, they can do it. And when they do it, it only gets better and better and better. So that's the reason why we decided to start our new organization called STOPD, which is an acronym for Support and Training to Overcome Parkinson's Disease. And it entails psychological support, emotional support, all kinds of training, and ideally at some point we would like to do clinical trials to prove that exercise and being proactive makes a huge difference. So Parkinson's can be fought against, and we're ready to do it. I hope you are too. Are you?